I imagine most of you think we have a pretty simple operation here where, I'm upstairs, I'm tasting wine with vendors and choose certain things that we put on the floor. Our great staff receives an order per what I tasted and liked, and then they get to work. They get it on the shelf. They see you coming in the door and they identify you in particular, you and you and you, and say, you're the person who likes a Rhone wine, you're the person who likes a nice Tempranillo, and so on. And so with that identification by our astute staff, we connect you to wines that we tasted upstairs, liked in an appointment, and ordered. A delivery guy brought it in, and it went to the shelf and then out the front door with you. Well, yes, very simple, right? Very routine. It's a little more complicated than that. There's a lot of different ways to show your wine. There's a lot of wonderful people out there to indulge in many certain unique and specific ways. And so our life, mine in particular, is a little more complicated than that. Let me tell you about this day where I rode my bike in, again, because of the fact that I don't have a car right now. Like, it's not a sob story, just saying. I'm on my bike, I've got a backpack on, and in that backpack is flour, because I wasn't sure if I had enough flour to do what I needed to do today, which was to make 8 loaves of bread. This is one of those loaves. I've been working with dough all day. Yeah, that's not typical wine shop stuff, right? But here is our little baby. You must be very quiet. You're in a nursery, quiet, please. Here it is. He's getting ready to be bred tomorrow. So I'm gonna put this little guy in swaddling clothes down in our cooler, where the fermentation that's going on and that beautiful piece of dough is going to slow down because of the cold temperature. And that buys me some time, where I spent virtually all day doing the dough, and tomorrow's baking day, 2 loaves at a time in our little convection oven in cast iron Dutch ovens. So it's an oven within an oven kind of a system, and it'll work. Wasn't sure if I had bread, so my backpack was heavy today. I pull up with a heavy backpack on my bike, and there's a delivery truck waiting, indeed, with wine that I liked in an appointment a week or 2 ago, and here's that delivery. So Sweaty Jim gets off his bike with his heavy backpack full of flour, takes care of the delivery, goes upstairs, works on dough, and then remembers, wait a minute, there's a barrel in the back parking lot. I don't have a prop to show you. Let's just put this up here. This medical looking device. Don't be scared. This is a refractometer, not something else. And it's just the symbol of the another activity of the day. There's a barrel in the back. It's a dried out barrel. It smelled really good, so I thought, I think I can use this for winemaking. But if I was to put wine in it right now, it would pour out between all the dried out staves. So wood, of course, loses its water, needs to be rehydrated, and it takes a long time for oak to suck water up and expand. So that's what's going on. Another project. Like, I'm up and down these stairs thinking about, okay, do I get the dough into the fridge now that it's made? Do I need to check on that barrel? And is there a delivery coming in? And just like, so life is complicated, all right? So yes, we picked some grapes in the backyard last week, and they're cold soaking right now in our walk-in cooler. Thankfully, cold soaking buys you some time, some barrel swelling time. And so pretty soon we're gonna pull that must out of the cold room and started fermenting. Maybe our next video will be right out there in front of there, so you could get to understand what the heck barrel fermentation with red wine actually looks like, because that's kind of weird, right? Why don't I put this up here? It's a glass, right? It's an empty glass. That's sad. To tell you about the rest of my day, like, I'm still what's all this bread for? It's all for an event that I'm attending on Saturday, off-site. In fact, we are going to be pouring wine for 56 Rotarians and supporters of the Mission San Jose Rotary Club, and on that day, supporters of a particular music relating to Mission San Jose itself, I think a children's music program. That's going to be the charity that everybody's supporting by attending this event. We're supporting it by throwing a lot of cheese and charcuterie and 11 fantastic wines that I'll be talking about for about 2.5 hours. And it's going to be a tasting that they get to enjoy, and so I'm baking bread because nearly every event that we do enjoys good old sourdough a la Jim. So I think it's going to work out. It looked very happy. I did the levain yesterday. I feed the starter every 2 days or so, and the levain was yesterday. Today was dough. Tomorrow was baking. Saturday is the day when I take 8 loaves and tons of charcuterie and tons of cheese platters and 11 different bottles of, 11 different wines represented by 45 bottles of wine, I think is what I'll be trundling down. And glasses. And in fact, everybody's going to get this glass in front of them at that event. And that's going to wipe out my inventory. It's going to totally clean the shelves, the wine bar shelves of this glass style. So, clever segue here, we are going to be doing a red wine flight this weekend that uses nothing but this glass. So the New World Pinot Noir glass hits the road this weekend. Say goodbye to it for 1 week. And instead, let's tell you about the flight. I'm not going to be tasting and tasting and tasting with you, otherwise this will go for half an hour like I did last time, and I promised you shorter vintages, so, videos, not vintages. I got vintages on the brain, obviously. The wine bar menu, brand new as of today, and I promise to get this damn video out today. Not just create it, but to publish it. So let's tell you what's going to be on the wine bar flight real quick. Actually, one commercial, you knew this would happen. I want to tell you about next Tuesday's events. It's all about this. It's all about this. That doesn't look very delicious, does it? It's all about my last 3 months of tasting. I'm back to July 22nd now, but I still have all of July to look at. So July and August and September will be represented. The best wines I've tasted in those 3 months will be tasted, you and me, because I want to try them again, next Tuesday night. So for 24 of you, and you need more signups because most of you don't know what the hell I'm talking about yet. I'll elaborate a little now. We're going to taste 12 fantastic wines, pricing between, let's say, $25 and $100. So good shit, right? For 24 of you, it's going to be fantastic. And I don't even know what it's going to be yet, except I've been checking my notes. I've gone through this notebook all the way back to July, and I've got this many ideas. Can you see that? It's a shitload of ideas. It's too many. And there's even some on the back. Like, I'm going to have to boil it down, but I'm getting all of this mud on the wall, as Ket Sheldon used to call it, all this concept, and then I'm going to have to say, where is there a theme? You know, how much Spain do we want to show? How much France? How much U.S.? You know, great cab from Napa Valley. Finally, it's about time we show some great Cabernet to you, right? The best dessert wine I've had forever. Like, when do we ever show dessert wine? Mourleux, which is a Vouvray quality of a level of sweetness. And man, this is bitchin' wine. So I thought of you. I thought of this event on Tuesday. A Brunello di Montalcino. It's awesome. I tasted it 3 days ago, and it screwed up my list. It made my list even longer. This is going to be good. I promise you. We're going to do perhaps Cornas, right next to the same producer's Saint Joseph. And those of you who are in a Northern Rhone wines, you know what I'm talking about. And it'll be the first time these wines have ever been poured here in an event or anywhere. I mean, one guy out there, you, Todd, have had it before, but otherwise, this will be a debut of a fantastic wine from the Northern Rhone. Look at this event. Please go to thewinesteward.com. There are seats available. I want 24 of you out there to enjoy the best wines I've had over the last 3 months with me this Tuesday, all right? And I'll make bread. How about that? Is it a deal? Okay, finally, to wine bar. And it'll be quick. I'm not going to taste them all in front of you, but I will describe. I told you that all we need for the red flight is this glass, because all we're tasting in the red flight is one particular grape variety called Cabernet Franc. Yes, this is an immersion into one grape. How cool. I think we will start where a lot of you guys have tasted. If you've been to Paris, you've had this wine type. I just need to find the damn wine. Here we go. This is Loire Valley Cabernet Franc. Loire Valley Cab Franc is most famously grown in Bourgogne and in Chinon. And this one is from nearby Saumur-Champagny, 100% Cabernet Franc. These wines can be a little bit green, a little more green than I like them to be. A little thorny rosebush kind of a thing that just, I don't know if I like that much veg and foliage foliage in my Cab Franc, and yet it ain't Cab Franc without a little bit of that. So it's kind of like, where do you find that wine? And you know, I taste and taste and taste. I want some of that really particular thing about Cab Franc, but I don't want it to overwhelm me. It happened here. I like this Cab Franc from the Loire Valley. So why don't we start there, which for a lot of people is the premise of Cabernet Franc, the Loire Valley type. So having abandoned that, what we are going to do is come right here to the Livermore Valley and have, wonderfully ironically, the most European style Cabernet Franc I've ever had from Livermore. And Steve Mirasu nailed it out there at Stephen Kent Winery. This is their kind of alternate looking label called L'Autre Côte, and it is 100% Cab Franc from here in, amazingly, the Livermore Valley, pouring you something that's really European style, almost Loire Valley-like. And I know that's what he was aiming for, because Steve admires Cab Franc and really likes him from that particular neck of the woods. So kudos to you, man. You pulled it off. It's really nice Cab Franc. And now it's showing up in cool restaurants around here, including, I saw it on the Range Life wine list the other night. So it's nice to know this is getting out. It deserves to. Good stuff from our neck of the woods. I think what we should do is go to Argentina next, which that wine country keeps surprising us with. Yeah, we know all about Malbec from there, but Cabernet Franc, I think, is the dark horse variety from Argentina. So this is a wine called Marcello Pelleretti, which doesn't sound very Spanish, does it? But you must already know that there's as many people coming from Italy about 100 years ago as from Spain to inhabit that place. And so you see a lot of Italian last names. 100% Cabernet Franc, shockingly dark and delicious, really endearing. It's nothing like the Loire Valley one that we'll start with, but that's what we want to do, show you the nice spectrum of flavors and styles of Cabernet Franc in this immersion into one varietal. In that case, why don't we show you what it does in a blend? This will in fact be the one blended wine of the event. This is Walla Walla Vintners. I got to visit this place just a few weeks ago. Walla Walla is a fantastic wine growing area in eastern Washington state, and Walla Walla Vintners makes a delicious wine, makes a lot of great things. And this is a blend that starts with Cabernet. I think Cabernet is like 45%. The next ingredient in proportion is in fact Cabernet Franc. It has a little bit of Syrah, Merlot, and I don't know, maybe Petit Verdot as well. But Cab Sauv and Cab Franc run the show, so we thought we would show you what Cab Franc does to a nice blend. Very elegant wine from Walla Walla, Columbia Valley, Washington State will be wine number 4. We're going to end with this guy here, and I will finally have a sip. I can't stand it any longer. Lucianus. I guess that's how you say it. It's Latin, but this is a French wine. This is from Bordeaux. But what you don't see from Bordeaux is 100% Cabernet Franc. That happens in the Loire Valley, but not in Bordeaux. Cab Franc most frequently happens in right bank blends, where the main player is Merlot, and there might be 20%, 15%, occasionally a little more than that. Like in Cheval Blanc, there could be up to 40 or 50%. There's a cool thing about Sideways, the movie, I'd like to tell you regarding, we all know about the quip about Merlot from that movie, but there is something about Cab Franc in there too. So, and the guy is drinking Cheval Blanc at the very end. So ask me about that and I will elaborate. But here, back to the wine. Lucianus, I don't know, is 100% Cabernet Franc that never saw a barrel. Yes, no barrels were harmed in the making of this wine. You can rest assured, because it was made entirely in amphora. Only 200 cases were made, 1 amphora's worth. It must be a pretty big vessel. An amphora is made of pottery, basically, and it's an ancient vessel for winemaking. So this is kind of like Back to the Future, or Back to the Past, I guess, as far as winemaking. 100% Cab Franc, with, there's an earthiness that kind of recalls maybe the pottery effect, the clay. And it's really pretty. This has had a day's, half a day's worth of air now. I opened it this morning and it's smelling beautifully now. That's really unique. You do not see this. And I'm saying like 200 cases were made, and we at the Wine Steward actually get to have it out here on the West Coast. We are almost certainly exclusive with this stuff out here. Oh shoot, I forgot my dump bucket. All right. Good juice. This will be fun. Immerse yourself into Cabernet Franc, and of course we will have a white flight as well, or a refreshing flight. And of course we start with sparkling wine. So as I struggle to get this thing back onto this bottle, let me just say that we are doing real life champagne this weekend. Montuit, our tried and true, probably the champagne that we've sold most consistently over the last 15 or so years. Montuit is good, inexpensive champagne, but inexpensive, yes, but it's still the real deal. It is from Champagne, France, good juice. Splurge a little, have real champagne, and then you can also contemplate having our refreshing Zinger Flight. We have yet to come up with a better name. We can't call it a white flight because there's always a rosé at the end of it, so that kind of screws up the color thing. But why not get an Albarino out in front of you? We haven't done one in a while, so Albarino from Spain. Castañera, and if you look, there's an EI in the name, and it's like, that doesn't happen very often in Spanish, except up in the northwest part of Spain called Galicia, where all of a sudden the Portuguese language gets to have a little bit of influence over Spanish. So EI is more of a Portuguese thing. That's just trivial, fun stuff. The history of language is fascinating, isn't it? Castañera, Albarino, refreshing, mineral. There are hints or rumors of nectarine and lime in this really refreshing wine. So we invite you to have a glass of it or do it as a flight. The next wine is really, I would call, intellectual. It's a brainy wine. This is 100% Garnacha Blanca, same as Grenache Blanc, from the birthplace of this grape. It is felt, it is believed that this grape, Garnacha Blanca, Grenache Blanc, came from Terra Alta. This is where the red Grenache mutated one day. It decided, got up in the morning and I think I'll mutate. And it turned into a white grape on one of the vines. And so they propagated that particular vine, and now there's Grenache Blanc or Garnacha Blanca throughout this part of Terra Alta. This producer, Editaria, makes, I think, 4 different versions, quality levels of Garnacha Blanca per year. This wine is interesting. And I think a foodie would love to think about what to do with it, like at the table. And I don't say it's a cocktail wine. I want you to think about what to make for this wine. It has resin and dried peach, not fresh peach, but dried peach. Saline qualities, yes, salinity. It's grown in fact, fossilized sand dunes or ancient sand dunes. This part of Spain used to be under the ocean. Now it's way up there. So some lifting happened at some point because this is kind of like high elevation, even higher than next door Priorat. So cool, Garnacha Blanca, we're proud to have it, but I need you to think about it, all right? This is not like slam it back wine. Peruse this, smell it, and think about it. Cherish it. This is the other wine that you will watch me smell and taste today. And it's always a dilemma with this grape called Viognier. Like, do you glorify it in a big glass, or do you keep it tight and nifty and try to preserve all the acidity as possible in a skinny glass? I'm saying that because our California Viogniers, they're hard to like hold back. They are overachievers, let's just say. So here is Stoltman's Viognier, which I think is an exception to that rule. This is the 2020 vintage from our friend Pete Stoltman. I really hope he will kindly travel back up here and do an event with us this year, but he hasn't intimated that yet. So maybe you ought to send him an email and say, hey, Pete, are you coming to the Wine Steward? Like, put a bug in his ear. Don't tell him I said to do that, all right? Let's make this your idea. You all, come on, let's letter writing campaign. Let's email and write Pete Stoltman and say, dude, get your butt up here. Please do another event for us. In the meantime, you guys get to enjoy this 2020 brand new release of 2020 Viognier. Now, you can do it in this glass and smell brightness, or you can do it in this glass and it will get a little more sexy and broad and rich. But in either glass, with this particular Viognier, you're not having over the top. Most Viogniers from California are high in alcohol and really gooey and just like, they're wonderful by the sip. You sniff them and you say, ooh, that smells good. And then you sip and you say, ooh, that tastes good. And then you realize after half a glass, I've had enough. It's kind of overwhelming. It starts to kind of build. This is good stuff. This is refreshing enough for you to drink glasses of it, have it with good food. Very nice. Good job, Pete and crew and Quadria, we call him. You will, the California Wine Club members, you are going to get 2 Stoltman wines in November. We've already decided that. Whether or not we get to see Pete in person, we will enjoy his wares in that club. And the final wine in that flight is, in fact, a pink wine made entirely of Pinot Noir from the Petaluma Gap of Sonoma County, the Sonoma Coast, that is. And Oro Bello is made by some French guy whose name I can't remember, and it's damn good Pinot Noir Rosé. So that will finish off the flight and the video. Again, I would love to have you guys sign up for Tuesday's event. I still don't know the final list. That's the fun of this. I love going through this list and saying, oh my God, what am I going to cut off? It's like I cry a little every time I have to cross something off, but I need to get down to not 10 wines. I'm calling it 10 wines. You know it's going to be 12. You know it's me, and I need to taste a lot of good things with you. So let's do it together, all right? Sign up for Tuesday. This is well worth it. Yes, it's $50 a pop, but we're pouring really bitchin' juice this time. So I hope we get to have you with us. I will have our good Pinot glasses back from that event by then, so you're probably going to have a lineup like this, each one of you, all 24 of you. You know how fun this can be, so let's do it together, all right? Thank you very much. Have a fantastic weekend. I am now going to publish this thing, doggone it. See you soon.